Let's build the Star Trek transporter effect. First, we shall add sources, which will be the transporter room, let's just zoom out so we can stretch it to full screen. Lock it in place. Now we add the camera. Then we right click and we add the background removal. There we go. We'll resize all the images later, but let's just add the assets. We add another one, which will be the tribble. Now we add the blue energy effect, which is a media file, all sourced from YouTube. And then we add another media file, which will be the sound of the transporter. Because the blue screen effect does have audio, but it's not the right sound that we want. Let's turn off the various effects. So now we can work on the cam. Let's just resize it, put it in the right place. There we go. Now we add filters. The filters we'll be doing in order of as we add them. So the first one we will need is the glow effect by finite singularity. We will choose dual quasi because it's actually quite efficient. So we just need to add the size. That's up to you. I'm going to choose 40. Intensity is literally just how much glow you want. It doesn't have to be any specific number. I'm going to stick at 100%. We're going to select a color for easy viewing. Let's take blue. Now that we've got the glow, we need to add some noise, which is also, where's noise? There we go. The noise is also by finite singularity. We'll add about, say, 100. We'll keep the numbers simple. You can adjust them to your own needs. Now we just set the Y scale, so it's a vertical distortion. Under transformation, we shall set the base pixels to say 30 because we want them really small to have a nice digital effect. Then under the subscale properties, we shall also make it small, say 10. Alright, so now we look really digitalized, so that's good. The final effect will be color correction. The color correction is so we can, one, turn this picture black and white, and two, we will be fading out when the transporter effect finishes. Alright? So, next we will add a move value. This is a filter created by Exceldrill. So you will need to put the glow on, select the glow filter, select single setting, we choose size, and we get the current value, which is 40. Now, to make this a custom duration, we shall just choose 500 milliseconds, half a second. We shall not have any easing. And then we duplicate it to turn off the glow. Go back to glow here. Remove the size. And then we get settings. We can do a quick test by clicking on the glow on and the glow off. Now we create another move value to turn off the noise. Select noise displacement, single setting, scale Y, get the value, set it at 500 milliseconds and no easing. Now we can do a quick test, noise on, noise off. Now the color correction will need two settings because one, we're going to make everything go black and white, and then we'll need the second setting to actually hide the picture when the teleportation is done. So right click, add, not move value, and this time it will be saturation off. So we go to color correction. Currently the saturation is at 72. We'll just drop it down to -1. Go back to the saturation that we just added. Single setting. Select saturation, get the value. Again, 500 milliseconds and no easing. Add another move value and we call it saturation on. Go back to color correction and then we set it back to our value that we had just now, which was 72. Select color correction, single setting, saturation, get the value, 500 milliseconds, no easing. Now let's do a quick test. Saturation off, saturation on. Excellent. Now the final one we'll need to add is the opacity, which makes it vanish. Opacity on because that's currently what it is. Select color correction, single setting, opacity, get value. I always click the get value just to make sure it is the current value and not what we thought we set it as. Now we go back to opacity, set it to 0, add another move value, opacity off. Okay, let's do a quick test. There we go. There we go. So now that we've set all these filters, we can move on to the tribble. So we can turn this guy off. And we'll set all the filters in a very simple way. Right-click on cam, select copy filters, right-click on tribble, paste filters. You're done. Now, just to make sure everything is working, we need first to remove the NVIDIA background because this is a transparent image, so it's unnecessary. We got the glow, we got the displacement, we got the color correction. So let's test to make sure everything's working. If not, you just have to reset them as and where we need them to be. Alright, now we shall do the transporter energy effect. So let's just turn the cam back on, turn on the transporter energy, and we will need to add a chroma key to hide the black. Set color spill, set smoothness and similarity to 0, and then adjust from there because each person's computer will have a different... Oh dear, I forgot to set the custom color to black. Okay, now we will see the effect when we adjust the similarity. We don't want it too similar because we need to adjust it for smoothness. So let's say 138. Then we adjust the smoothness so it looks really like energy. Slightly wispy, slightly ghostly. And we're done. Now we will add the speaking part of the tribble when it appears. So we'll just turn on the tribble, hide my camera. We'll create a new scene. But how do we see what's happening? How do we know that we're putting the elements in the right place? Right-click on transporter, select windowed projector, stretch it out to fit your screen so you can see it clearly. Go back to tribble speech. Now we'll add the image of the speech bubble. So let's call it speech 1 because I have 2 speech bubbles. You might only need 1 depending on your needs. Now we'll just put this here. And you still can't see it. Here's the trick. Go back to transporter and add the scene. Tribble speech. There you go. Now you can see where you're putting your elements. Because if I move this around, you'll notice it also moves around on the other screen. So just stretch it up a bit bigger so it's easier to see. We add another speech bubble for the other direction. Just reselect the same image, it's okay. And then what we will do is right-click on speech 2, go to transform, and flip horizontal. Put it in place, resize as necessary. There we go. Now we just add some GDI text. Call it cursing, cursing, because that's what we will be doing. Just add in a few of the standard. Select the font. I'm going to select 100. You might want it bigger. Move this out of the way so we can drag it into place. Obviously, white on white doesn't work, so we're going to change this text color to black. And there you go. You got the text in place. I'm going to add another one because in my demo, the Tribble actually gets quite excited. Change the font size also to 100 and make it red. Drag that into place. Then the last speech bubble. Remember, you can choose any font, any size that you like. It just depends on your purposes. There we go. So now you can see the text bubbles, the words. So if we turn them off one by one, you can see what's happening. So during the animation, we'll have the first speech bubble, the first curse, yelling at Scotty, turn on the second speech bubble, and the final words. So there you go. Basically, this is all you need to do to create the Star Trek transporter effect. What we will be doing now is going to the now we need to adjust the camera size for the stretching effect in the transporter. So you will unlock the cam, shrink it down to the size that we want it to be. Then we right-click on Transporter, go to Filters. We add Exceldro's Move Source, and we shall call it Cam Beam In. You can call it whatever you like, but make sure the names are sufficiently unique that you will be able to recognize them when we go to StreamerBot later. So we select the camera, we make it 1200 milliseconds, no easing, and then we click on the Get Transform. Now we right click on the cam and transform, edit transform. Why do we choose edit transform is because when you click on the red bars, it will stretch it proportionally. We don't want proportion, we want real distortion. So for the width, I've chosen 200, and for the height, let's say 800. That looks good. We close this, and now we add another Exceldro's Move Source, and we shall call it Cam Beam Out. Select the camera. Make it 1200 milliseconds, no easing, and we shall get the transform. Let's do a quick test to see if the positioning is good. Yep, that looks good. So once we lock the camera in place, we can do another test. Excellent. We repeat the process for the Tribble. Right-click, go to Filters. Right-click on Transporter and go to Filters. Add another Move Source and we shall call it Tribble Beam In. Let's just scale the Tribble down to the size we want it to be. Might need to crop the bottom of the Tribble so it looks like it's sitting on the transporter pad. So we go to the filter, select the tribble, select the timing of once again 1200 milliseconds, no easing, then we click on get transform. Now right click on the tribble, transform, edit transform, and we stretch it out. Let's make this 130 pixels wide and say 600 pixels tall. Add another Exceldros move source and we shall call it tribble beam out. Select the tribble, give it 1200 milliseconds, no easing, and we get the transform. Let's do a quick test to see if the positioning is still good. We lock the tribble so we can actually see whether the positioning is still good. It's excellent. Alright, now we shall work on the fun bits in StreamerBot. So we've created ourselves an action. So we add all the sub-actions that we need. We add a source visibility state to turn on the transporter energy. One more for the sound. We add a 600 millisecond delay. And then we turn on the glow using a source filter state. Let me just open that so you can see what I mean. So we've got the scene. We've got ourselves a scene. We've got ourselves, there we go. We got ourselves the source that has been affected, and we got the filters, which we added much earlier on, if you remember. You can see all the filters that we added for the camera. So we're going to select glow on. Do the same for the noise filter. Add a 300 millisecond delay. Now, before I continue, these delays are merely so the effect looks smooth. It's got nothing to do with the setting that we did in the filters much earlier on. Then we turn off the saturation to make everything go black and white. And then we do the stretching of the source like what we did just now. And let's have a quick test to see how it looks. Yeah, I added the reset. If not, it's going to take a lot of time just to click on each one of these filters and do the reverse. Now, we will be doing the same thing for the tribble, which I won't be showing here because it's literally you just copy the action and rename it to tribble and then replace each filter from cam. You can switch it over to tribble. So you can play with the timings. Let me just zoom in again. Play with the timings to make your transporter effect different, unique. You might want a longer beam out or a faster beam out or something different. Have fun with that, because once we've beamed out, we can create a whole action to do the same effects for the tribble speech. Alright, you should have everything you need right now to put all the various actions together, and we will have our Star Trek transporter. Okay, that's basically how it's done. I'm sorry this tutorial is crap, but it's my first tutorial that I've ever made, so have fun, and if you got questions, you know how to find me on all the socials.